Okay, listen to me. I came across this on Reddit looking up something completely different. I wasn't looking up am I the a-hole stories whatsoever. But this one got my attention because what I was looking for was information on the girls that were friends with Kaylee Consalvis from the Idaho 4 case that she went to a lunch with back in September of 2022, that she told she had a stalker, that she had received something from this stalker. These girls all spoke with the police. They all gave information, and collectively, the three or four of them knew about the scenario, remembered the lunch, remembered Kaylee mentioning this situation, but couldn't remember the specifics. Now, again, we've been told from the police and with the sentencing of Brian Koberger that there was no stalking in this situation. We also have pretty much determined that the Winco situation was a one-off and that Bethany Funk was the only person that Kaylee seemed to have told that she did see someone outside that one time while she was walking Murphy. But those things would have happened right before the murder that happened on November 13th, 2022, wherein this lunch was taking place months before that in September. So again, I came to Reddit to look for names because by the time this video comes out, we'll have gone over all of those interviews that we do have the audio for. But the last one that we went over, the initials to the girl is just RR. And I personally cannot validate the picture and the name that's going around as anyone associated with the Idaho 4 victims, namely Kaylee, which is what the story is about, which is why I came to Reddit to see if I could find any actual information to match the initials with the person before we went over the interview. Now, like the second or third response to this in the filtering after I put this in the search bar was this "Am I the a-hole" story. And the person that this person was, so say, stalking was a girl named Kaylee. And besides the fact that this girl was barely 5 foot, according to this story, everything else, including the high school sweetheart situation, the bikini pictures with friends at the beach, is all very much Kaylee. And granted, this person could be making this up, but it got my attention. And once I got to the end of the very first big paragraph, I knew I needed to record the rest of my reaction. So let's go ahead and just get started. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Now, I will say this person's account's name is disgustingly disturbing. I'm not going to say it out loud. It's right there. And also, Kaylee's boyfriend is just there. I don't know. But again, we're going to read this. Just keep in mind, it was posted 2 years ago. It's just real creepy. Listen to the details. Advice needed. Am I the a-hole for stalking my girlfriend on social media for almost 2 years before I started dating her? Would she ever forgive me if I tell her the truth? I'm 30 male and an IT engineer who mostly works from home. I recently broke up with my ex of 4 years, 28 female, Sloan. She works in PR. IT and PR, two things very much in the Idaho case, after a lot of toxicities, and almost immediately entered into a new relationship with me and my ex's former dog walker, 21 female. Her name is Kaylee. What Kaylee didn't know was that I had initially found her on Instagram 2 years ago, and it was love at first sight. At the time, I was in the middle of a rough patch with my ex Sloan and was wasting a lot of time at work staring at hot girls in bikinis I didn't know on Instagram. Most didn't even live close to me. I was doing that using a separate Instagram account so Sloan wouldn't find out. Anyway, I randomly came across Kaylee's Instagram profile and she was everything I ever wanted. Listen to the description minus the height. Short, she's barely 5 foot. I don't like tall girls. Blonde, thick, big boobs, big butt, thick thighs, tan skin. Who's that sound like? She also had a cute, angelic face, an adorable smile, and seemed to have a very bubbly personality. I also found her TikTok, and her outgoing personality really shone through there. She clearly loved the beach and taking silly pics with her friends. I was totally blown away and thought she was an absolute goddess. but she was a college girl going to school in another state. She also had a boyfriend in the Marines. They were high school sweethearts. And I obviously had a girlfriend. We had no mutual acquaintances, and I felt pathetic for even having such strong feelings for someone I had never met and most likely would never meet. Sure, I knew her full name, what school she went to, what her parents' sister, boyfriend, and even sister's boyfriend looked like, but for the sake of my sanity, I had to put her out of my mind. She had around 6,000 followers when I first discovered her, but after posting some bikini pics in summer of 2022, her followers almost doubled and she made her Instagram private, probably because loser guys harassed her. Luckily, I was already following her using my alternate Instagram account, and I would check her profile every 2 to 3 months. Sure, like you would really wait that long. Now, when we get further into this story, it's most likely going to go further away from OUR Kaylee, but the similarities are just absolutely insane. And I wanted to read over this story anyway because it popped up and got my attention. Last fall, I noticed her Instagram disappeared, and when she came back to social media, it was apparent that she and her boyfriend had broken up because her boyfriend cheated. Who would do that to her? I was jealous of her boyfriend, obviously, but I also hated that she was hurt by him and that she dropped out of college and moved to a different town because she was sad about the breakup. I soon found out that she was working at a bar 2 hours from me. The bar's Instagram tagged her, and I started making the drive to go there for lunch twice a month. Sloan, which is this guy's ex-girlfriend, would track my location through the My iPhone using Find My Phone, so I always left my phone at home and would take my old iPhone instead. This dude is so freaking shisty. I didn't know Kaylee's schedule, and it took me around 2 months to catch my first glimpse of her in person. So he would leave his real phone at home, take his fake phone so his girlfriend at the time wouldn't freaking know where he was, and then drive by the off chance to see if he would see her. And he did this who knows how many times before he actually got a glimpse of her at work. That is so freaking creepy. And the first time that he actually does happen to show up at the time that she's working, he's not in her area. So she doesn't actually wait on him. And it says, we didn't even make eye contact. Oh my God, this is so creepy. In December, shortly after Thanksgiving, I finally got her as my waitress. It was a dead Tuesday afternoon, so we got to talk a lot. She was super friendly and giggled a lot, and she would touch my arm when we laughed, but I wasn't sure if she liked me or was just flirting for more tips. I was so nervous, I almost felt like I was back to my nerdy 15 years old high school self. I had never had a girlfriend in high school, but vastly improved my appearance after college. Workout, contact lenses, faux hawk, new clothes, earrings, gold chain. Okay. Meeting her was like a dream come true. She's 100% my type, and I find her hotter than any celebrity. I guess I made a good impression because she told me she would be working again on Friday afternoon and that I was welcome to drop by. So I made the 2-hour drive again that Friday. She was happy to see me that Friday, and near the end, I asked for her Instagram and she gave it to me, even though you already had it, you freaking sick weirdo. Our lease was up early this year, and I convinced Sloan to move closer to where Kaylee lives and works to save money. Oh my God. So he was still living with the girl and convinced the chick to move closer to the girl that he wanted to be with so that his little freaking excursions out of the house would cost him less money. All freaking audacity, broski. Oh my God. Okay. After moving, I started spending even more time at the bar on weekday afternoons when Kaylee worked, and occasionally asked Kaylee to walk and look after me and Sloan's dog when we were either busy or flying out of town so she could make some extra money. So Sloan got to meet her too. I told Kaylee not to tell Sloan I met her at the bar, but that we met at a dog park. Oh my God. The more I got to know her, the more she amazed me. She said she was renting an apartment with roommates because she didn't want to move back to her mom's place, and she was taking classes at community college and hoping to transfer credit to a different school next year. I told her I respected her a lot for making it on her own. Me and Sloan didn't have a good experience with most doggy daycares or Rover app, but Kaylee genuinely adores animals. This is just so creepy. I was head over heels in love with Kaylee, yet Sloan seemed completely oblivious and didn't consider Kaylee a threat at all. In fact, Sloan would make fun of Kaylee behind her back with me and her friends, calling her short and fat, tubby girl, saying she tried to fit into clothes too small for her and had horrible fashion style. She was more of a country girl, so she usually wore jeans in the winter and short denim jean shorts and tank tops in the summer that accentuated her curves. Sloan usually wore pantsuits or pencil skirts. I prefer Kaylee's style. So it actually does kind of sound like the ex-girlfriend was definitely threatened by her, regardless of what this guy just typed in. Sloan thought I would agree with her, and Kaylee wasn't my type, yet her cliquey mean girl behavior only turned me off from Sloan even more. Eventually, Sloan found out that I liked all of Kaylee's Instagram pics. She found out my password and took my phone when I was showering. Oh, and realized I was attracted to Kaylee. I mean, honestly, you're like cheating. So regardless of her being a biatch or not, I would have been looking through your damn phone too. I swore nothing happened between me and Kaylee, but she was still upset and accused me of emotional cheating, and we soon broke up. That's exactly what you were doing. You literally persuaded your, at the time, girlfriend to move closer to where your chick that you really wanted to be with had a job, so that you sneaking around behind her back was cheaper on your pockets. You freak. Ugh. I asked Kaylee out almost immediately after, and she said yes. I thought I was the luckiest and happiest man on earth. Maybe we're in a honeymoon phase, but I'm over the moon, and this is hands down the best summer of my life. She's drop dead gorgeous and makes me so happy. All the toxic drama Sloan brought is gone. This pent-up anger I had since my teenage years is also gone. I genuinely feel like I've never truly been in love until now. I'm always spoiling her with gifts, flowers, and jewelries. I bought a small boat. I took her to Venice and Paris for the Olympics. We're already talking about moving in together. Everything is going amazingly well, but the only thing constantly weighing on me is the fact that I stalked her. On one hand, I love her so much, so I feel awful for keeping the secret from her. But on the other hand, I know beautiful girls like her have a lot of options. As the high school nerd, I've always felt I have to do everything right to have a slim chance to meet up with girls like her. Maybe I simply don't deserve it. I thought about coming clean a few times, but always chickened out. I thought maybe I should write her a letter and explain everything, but surely she would think I'm the world's biggest creep. Yeah, but also hold on a second, because this girl obviously doesn't really have very high morals to begin with. Whoever this person actually is. The story got my attention because of what the search came up, but we knew from the timeline that it wasn't our Kaylee, regardless of how freaking much the similarities are creeping everyone out at this point. And don't pretend like you weren't creeped out. But this girl also knew that this guy was in a relationship and that he lived with this woman. And there's also no way that while she was walking the dog and while she was around both of them, that them moving from farther away from her to closer to where she was, and then all of a sudden she's walking the dog, like she knew what the hell was happening. That's why as soon as they broke up, she was totally okay with jumping into a relationship with him. So while her morals are just as shitty, he still is way worse than her, because yeah, he found her randomly on social media and did all the stalkery shit. Because let me ask you, what would have been the outcome if she wouldn't have reciprocated his feelings? What would have been the outcome if she didn't like him back? With everything that he'd already put into this, from knowing her entire family history, driving so far, making his, at the freaking time, spouse, partner, whatever you want to call the girlfriend, move closer to where this girl worked. What would have happened if she wouldn't have been agreeing to it, if she wouldn't have liked him back? What would have been the outcome? It's a scary thought, because look at what this dude already did. And what's going to happen if they break up? Scary. Super, super scary. But let me know what you guys are thinking about this down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.